want to talk about the thyroid. Nobody knows where the thyroid is, but it's at the base of your neck. It's shaped like a butterfly, and it makes energy for you. That's its whole job. And if you are hypothyroid, that means you're low in thyroid. But the gland is not making enough thyroid hormone. You can feel crummy. You're kind of running on empty. You're weak. You're sensitive to cold. You feel constipated. You'll often gain a little bit of weight. Your mood may go down, and your skin and hair will change. Now you can have the opposite. You can be hyperthyroid, and it's just the opposite. You're revved up. You're likely to lose weight. You're likely to lose weight. Although once in a while people gain a little bit. Your pulse will be higher. You're going to feel more revved up and just feel crummy. So what's this all about? Well, it's really pretty simple. The first thing is thyroid hormone has to have iodine to be built. And in 1924, the Morton Salt Company released this product, these little salt things with iodized salt. And that pretty much made sure that every American had iodine every day. About a third of a teaspoon provides all the iodine you need. However, being modern people, we always find ways to make ourselves sick. So people started using sea salt and kosher salt and Himalayan salt, which is not iodized. And then we start gaining weight and whatever, wondering what's the issue. You do need iodine. There is a source, dairy disinfectants. Cows are not so hygienic. So before you put the milking machine on, you have to kind of wipe away the things that have dribbled onto the udder. And so what farmers use is a iodine-containing disinfectant spray. And if you spray it, you don't wipe it off too well, then some of the feces mixed with disinfectant will actually get into the milk, and it's a significant iodine source. However, there's another source, and that's sea vegetables. And as a kid growing up in Fargo, North Dakota, I did not know what seaweed was in any culinary sense. But if you go to a sushi bar, that nori seaweed that goes around the sushi, that's an iodine source. Now don't get the fish sushi, unless you're really well insured. But the cucumber roll, or the asparagus roll, or the sweet potato roll, that kind of stuff, you'll get the nori and no cholesterol. The wakame that's in the seaweed salad or in your miso soup, or the arame, which is a very delicate sea vegetable that combines just great with cucumbers, a little salt, and a little seasoned vinegar, lightest salad you've ever had. So all of these give us what nature thought we were going to do, is get iodine from sea vegetables. So, see what you think. In the United States, the biggest reason for hypothyroidism is actually antibodies. Your body makes antibodies. Antibodies are torpedoes. Your white blood cells see that a virus has entered, and so they make antibodies to destroy them. They swim around in the blood, and they find viruses and they kill them. Or a bacteria has invaded, or there's a cancer cell. Antibodies can recognize these things and destroy them. And for some reason, when people have what's called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, they're low in thyroid, the problem is that their body's making antibodies attacking themselves. And the opposite can occur. So instead of shutting down the thyroid, it can rev it up. Because antibodies can attack the regulatory machinery so that you can't stop making thyroid hormone and you end up hyperthyroid. So most cases of hyper or hypothyroidism are related to antibody action. So, well, autoimmune diseases, we learned a long time ago, are often affected to either a small degree or a large degree by diet. We learned this with rheumatoid arthritis. We learned it with asthma. It started really with just case studies. The guy with asthma stopped consuming dairy and the asthma went away. By the way, if anybody here has a kid with asthma, or if you have it yourself, run, do not walk to a completely dairy-free vegan diet and just see how things go, okay? Just don't cancel your doctor's appointment, but do this. And in many cases, you will see that they get just dramatically better or no longer have asthma. Rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's disease. The research is still a little fluky, and I think we need a lot more really good studies on these. But many people have made these kinds of diet changes, and they do better. And hypo and hyperthyroidism are autoimmune conditions in most cases, okay? So could foods really affect the thyroid? The Adventist Health Study, too, they looked at who had the most and who had the least hypothyroidism. And it may not surprise you that people who had followed vegan diets had the least hypothyroidism, And the group worst off was people who were ovo-lacto-vegetarians, meaning they're not eating meat and they're making up for it with dairy products, cheese, and so forth. And with regard to hyperthyroidism, the omnivores did the worst. And again, the vegans do the best. So I think we need more research, but it does look like avoiding the animal products minimizes the risk. Okay, this is Mike. Mike's a neurosurgeon, lives in North Carolina, and he was hypothyroid. He was 45 years old, and the test we do is called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Its job is to push the thyroid to get into gear. And if your TSH level is rising, that's a sign that your thyroid is really sluggish. Somehow the TSH is pushing and pushing, your TSH is going up. So after about 5 years, Mike's own physician said, let's face it, you're hypothyroid, why don't you start replacement? But he didn't do that. He changed his diet, went on a totally plant-based diet, and what happened was his TSH level came down to normal. He wasn't really overweight, but he lost 7 or 8 pounds that he realized he didn't need, and his energy got dramatically better. And so we see many, many, many cases just like this.